sesame potatoes and beetroot, and chocolate millefeuille with lemon mousse and caramel orange sauce.
Rhubarb's making a big comeback this year. Gareth, what's on your menu?
For starter, I'm preparing a medley of fish mousse topped with prawns and served with champagne butter sauce. And for main course, a roast duck served with harvest sauce with pecan crepes filled with stir-fried vegetables and glazed button onions. And finally, for pudding, a lemon shortcake filled with lemon cream served with lime coulis.
Well, I like the sound of all of that, but especially the pecan crepes, actually. Marion, what have you got for us?
Well, for starters, I'm cooking quails baked in red peppers with little corn muffins with sun-dried tomatoes. And for my main course, I'm cooking crispy-skinned Orkney salmon with morels and trumpet de Moors on a bed of curly kale, and I'm serving that with spicy puy lentils. And for a pudding, I'm serving hazelnut tort with mascarpone and bramble coulis.
Well, I'm thrilled that kale is making one of its very, very, very rare appearances on MasterChef. It's a great day for vegetables. I'm longing to taste your cooking again, so I'll send you back to your kitchens for the second time this year. Good luck to all of you. Have a really good time, and let's get cooking.
Today we're going to do some spring things, some spring dishes. I would like somebody...
Sonia Stevenson was the chef and owner of one of Britain's foremost country restaurants. 4 years ago, she decided on a complete change of direction, and Sonia now cooks, demonstrates, and lectures throughout Europe.
Brilliant, well done.
And she even has time for some new ventures.
Now that I'm not having to cook every night in the restaurant, I find I've got time to write a cookery book, and this time it's on sauces. Tie it all into a nice little tight knot.
As well as working with small groups, Sonia receives many a commercial commission.
And I've been up in Lanark in Scotland doing a dinner for the Tomato Growers Association, and there I had to think up all sorts of different ways of cooking tomatoes, tomato ice cream and tomato summer puddings and all sorts of different ways of using up tomatoes. Right, so now I think we've got quite a good sort of creamy mixture there. Before, when I had the restaurant, I was tied to my stove and happily in the background creating, but now I think what I enjoy so much is going out and meeting people and travelling all over the country and talking to people, and I think this is really what I love doing.
Sonia, welcome to the programme.
Well, it's a great treat to be here. Well, very nice to be here.
So as a sort of travelling food guru, what is the demand for amongst British cooks who want to improve?
I think it's how do you do this? It's some of the, what I would call sort of almost the physics of cooking. You know, why does a sauce, say, cut? And why does it, you know, and sometimes it's because they've overcooked the egg. Sometimes it's because an emulsion has broken. And in the cookery books, they don't seem to be able to pick this up. It seems, as soon as I show them, they say, well, of course. Now, why didn't anybody say that before in a book? And I just point out that, I mean, if you had to explain in a book every single reaction that happened in cooking, nobody would read the book. It would be so awful.
What do you learn as you travel around Britain?
Oh, endless things. I mean, the imagination of people is fantastic. I mean, from meeting and talking to people, you get idea after idea. I mean, they just come up with, haven't you heard, or my granny used to say, and this sort of thing.
If you had an imaginary restaurant, what would be your signature dish of 1995?
Well, the trouble is, my favourite dish is always the one I've just been doing, you know, and just discovered and found. So I don't really know what my signature dish. When we had the Horn of Plenty, everybody asked for the salmon quenelle, followed by the lamb in pastry. And those two things, I think I could have run the restaurant just on 2 dishes.
You began as a violinist, didn't you?
Yes, yes.
Why? What is the connection between food and music?
Well, it's doing things, isn't it? Mm. It's people that don't want to necessary to read something and take it in and think. It's people that sort of immediately want to show what they're doing. It's a slight exhibitionist, isn't it?
Exhibitionist and
I think
instant
so.
gratification.
Absolutely, yes. And the fun of being able to do it tomorrow and the next day, you know, because luckily when you sit down and eat a meal, it disappears in an hour or two. But you've always got tomorrow. You're going to be hungry again tomorrow, so you can do it all over again.
And we're going to be hungry later on in the program.
my
But
goodness.
before we get to eat, we'll take our tour of the kitchens
That's great.
and see what our contestants are up to. So
Lovely.
let's go off to the red kitchen. Where Ashley appears to be merrily slaving away. Well, at least slaving away, actually. I can't guarantee how jolly he's going to be about it.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
Now, this is something to do with the cheese and walnut souffle, yeah?
That's right, yes. These are the ramekins, which I've buttered and coated
What?
with breadcrumbs.
Ah, it's breadcrumb,
Yep.
yes.
That's
Why?
the
Right.
souffle mixture. Well, they're going to be twice baked. They're going to be turned out of here. And you get a
Yes.
breadcrumb
Oh, lovely.
coating around the
Goodness,
bottom.
that would
and
make
then
a
they're
nice
baked again.
difference in contrast in texture, wouldn't it?
Now, everyone is allowed to bring one pre-prepared
Hmm.
item, a bit of stock or something. Did you prepare
A
anything
dressed
or not?
crab is what I've
A
got.
dressed crab?
Wow.
Oh, can we have a look at it?
This is all right now, is it, to leave out all the...
I think so.
Yeah, that's a bit of dressed crab.
It's the crab.
And where did this guy hail from?
This came from a fishmonger in Crouch End in London.
And presumably from some bit of coastline before that.
Yes, I'm not sure which bit to be
Cornish
honest.
crab, Cornish crab must be.
Oh, we hope so. We'll be back and see you later,
Okay, looks
Ashley.
great.
Thank you. Oh, I like to see people making pancakes. It's a heartwarming sight.
Oh, well, they look very interesting. What's inside?
Some pecan nuts chopped finely, and
Yes.
some fresh herbs, and some
yes.
basil and sage.
I can smell it. It smells gorgeous.
I'm rather intrigued by the champagne
I
butter
was going to
sauce.
say champagne with it.
Tell us about it,
too.
because you're writing a book on sauces, aren't
That's
you?
right, yes.
There might be
yes.
time to get this in.
It's reduced champagne
Yes.
with some olive oil
Uh-huh.
and some garlic again.
Yes.
It's got sesame oil and peppercorns and herbs in
Yes.
it. And then just a touch of butter.
So to flavour the butter with your champagne and things,
yeah,
that sounds
and the
absolutely
oil.
delicious.
And what are the medley of fish meats is? I mean,
It's a fish mousse, steamed and then flavoured with some lemon
yeah,
and lime,
yeah.
and on the top some prawns then and some cress.
And what fish have gone into the mousse? Cod and
Yeah, the
what else?
cod.
Just cod.
Yeah, and just prawns on the top.
Excellent.
Yes,
We'll be
lovely
back.
having cod with champagne.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Very nice, actually.
Yes, nice.
Thanks, Gareth.
Thank you.
What are you up to, Marianne?
Well, I'm just making my corn muffins now. I've got the dry ingredients in here, and I'm going to team that up with the red peppers and the quails.
I must say, I'm very intrigued by these. So, what have you done? You've taken...
I took the breasts off the quails,
Right.
skinned them,
Yeah.
then sandwiched the two together with some basil, some coriander, nutmeg,
Wow.
salt and pepper, garlic, lots of basil oil in it,
terrific.
and a good olive oil.
Can we have a
good
look
virgin
inside
olive
one?
oil. Of course, all right.
Oh, yes, nestling in there looks lovely. That's so
Mm.
good, because you've got so many lovely flavours in
That's
the
right,
middle,
yeah.
and the colour is so bright that the flavouring stands up to the colouring,
That's
which is
right,
such a good
yeah.
idea.
So I'm going to bake them really hot to try and get them slightly browned on the outside.
Typical old Kincardineshire
Yes, that's
recipe,
right.
isn't it?
Very much so.
It's very sort of Arizona, New Mexico sounding sort
yes,
of dish, isn't
perhaps
it?
more Mediterranean, a bit of a mixture, I think, here.
Yeah, yeah.
A bit of everything.
Absolutely.
Marvellous imagination, absolutely marvellous.
Excellent. It's going to look very beautiful, isn't it?
Well, I hope so.
Great,
All right,
best of luck.
thanks. Thanks, Marianne. Well, I think we know enough to talk about menus now.
Yes, yes, we've seen everything.
In the red kitchen, Ashley is beginning with the cheese and walnut souffle, then following that with the gingered crab and fish layer with rhubarb sauce, sesame
Yes.
potatoes and some beetroot, followed by a chocolate millefeuille with lemon mousse and caramel orange sauce. Now, how does that menu hit you?
Well, I think it's got a tremendous amount of different flavours in. It's going to be fascinating to see how it really comes out in a complete meal, because there are, you know, with ginger and sesame and beetroot and chocolate and lemon, he really has given himself quite a challenge, hasn't he?
There's a lot going
There's
on
a
there.
lot going on, but they are marvellous. And if he can really mix those in a meal. That's terrific.
Quite tricky, that one. Now, in the yellow kitchen, Gareth is beginning with the medley of fish mousse with prawns, with a champagne butter sauce, followed by breast of duck with that bramble sauce, pecan crepes filled with stir-fried vegetables, and then finishing with a lemon shortcake filled with lemon cream served with a lime coulis.
Eating through it mentally, I think that seems very well balanced at
Yeah.
the minute. It's very interesting, that one. And I love the idea of the duck and the bramble. I think that's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And again, champagne and cod. I mean, isn't it? I'm just longing to see what that
Yes,
like
I
too,
think
that
that's,
mixture.
I think that's a potentially great mixture.
yeah.
And then in the blue kitchen, Marion is beginning with quails baked in red peppers, served with little corn muffins with flecks of sun-dried tomatoes, followed by a crispy skin Orkney salmon with morels and trompette de mort, on a bed of curly kale served with some puy lentils, and then finishing with a hazelnut torte with mascarpone and a pool of bramble coulis.
Yes, that's fascinating. I love the idea of the trompette de mort, which of course a horn of plenty, you realise, with a salmon. We never put, I wish I'd thought of that, a really dark mushroom to go with a pink of the salmon will be lovely. And lentils, totally different texture and everything. It should go beautifully. Yeah, quails, I think, are very difficult to deal with, and I think to tuck them into those peppers is a great idea. Absolutely lovely. If you can get really some flavour into those, that's going to be terrific.
Now for the last of our competitions in the series, and we're turning to the pecan nut. Where I grew up, it was called the pecan nut, which Gareth is featuring in his crepe. To enter, all you do is call this number and answer the following question. The pecan is native to which country? Is it A, Canada, B, the USA, or C, Argentina? I know that Sonia is going to rush home and phone us as well. You can call on 0891 447711. When you call, I'll repeat the question for you. The sender of the correct answer, which is drawn out of our gigantic hat, will win a marvellous evening for two at the establishment of one of Masterchef's guest judges. We'll throw in an overnight stay too, so you don't have to worry about driving home. Why not give it a go? Good luck to all of you. Now, those of you who entered last week's competition will want to know that tiger prawns most frequently come from Sri Lanka. Well, ginger and crab do have an affinity, but why stem ginger?
Really just the sweetness. I find it goes much better with the crab. Root ginger can be a bit sharp.
And is crab with rhubarb sauce a sort of customary old Sunderland dish, you know?
No, I don't think I could claim that.
So where did it... Because it is, to me, a very novel combination. Have you heard of rhubarb sauce with seafood before?
No, not at all. I think it's a very interesting form of acid, actually.
Yeah.
I think if one thinks of it as a form of acid, then it becomes more
What that
natural.
Ashley was taking when he came up with the recipe. Or
So I always find that it's nice using the tail because one never has this annoying bit of taking the bones
Yes,
out.
that's probably very true.
But it doesn't give you such an even
Painstaking.
piece, does it?
No, and
Oh,
what
that's
I'm
lovely.
actually trying to get is a nice thick piece that I want to keep still fairly pink in the middle. I'm going
lovely.
to cook it skin side down for the bulk of the cooking,
Yes.
so that the skin becomes very crisped, and
I see.
hopefully the salmon in the middle will remain fairly sort of pink.
And have you taken scales off? Or,
The scales are
yes?
actually off, yes.
Yes, one would have to do
Yes,
that if you're going
yes.
to eat the skin, wouldn't
That's right, the scales are off.
Yes.
This is just such a fiddly job, though. But it makes it
Just
easier for
normal,
people.
ordinary sort of household tweezers you've got. You find those the best?
I think they're my daughter's eyebrow tweezers, actually. I did sterilise them, so don't worry.
And this is your
Nice,
cod mousse, yeah?
Just I've processed it very finely in the food processor with some champagne just to bring out the flavour in the fish and pass it very fast through a sieve.
Oh, right.
And it should give more of a soft mousse.
But what about all these cards?
Yeah, they're from my friends at college.
Why all the black cats?
Because I've got a black cat at home. And hopefully it will bring me some luck today.
Okay. And what's your black cat called?
Blackie.
Well, the activity in the blue, yellow and red kitchens is making us outrageously hungry, so it's time to bring on my second guest judge. He reviews restaurants for Esquire magazine. He also keeps many of our more sluggish MPs on their toes. He's Ken Livingstone. Welcome, Ken.
Lovely to be back.
So what's it like being a restaurant reviewer?
It's wonderful. I mean, because normally the restaurant reviewers, they're masters of their subject. They know exactly what they're eating. They can detect the herbs. I just know what I like, so I do my best. Do I want to eat any more of it? And so it's a sort of plain man's guide to being a restaurant critic. But I've loved it. It's given me a chance to get to restaurants that I normally wouldn't be able to afford.
What has it taught you about food?
Well, if you go to the best restaurants, what you do get is magnificent. What's striking is when you get down to the middle range, it's very, very variable.
I know that when Charles Kennedy was on the programme, we actually specialise in finding part-time work for MPs. When Charles was on the programme, he was hoping that his appearance would also lead to a restaurant criticism job.
Oh, yes. It dovetails in with our life. So much of what MPs do is done over lunches, over dinners. So much of politics is social. If you can actually get plugged into a whole range of nice restaurants, what's odd is there's very few good restaurants around Parliament. And I suppose MPs tend to stay corralled in the House of Commons.
Is that for safety?
No,
it's convenient.
They wait for a journalist to say, let me take you to lunch. They hang around.
And does it affect your judgment? A really good meal?
Oh, yes.
Soften you up?
If you go out and you've had a really good meal and you've drunk more than you should, you're much more of a pushover. That's why there is no such thing as a free lunch. When sinister great corporations take you out for a meal, you know this is going to be painful at the end of it.
But now that you've been raised to the culinary purple as a restaurant reviewer, have you been pressed into service on the House Catering Committee?
Oh, no. I'm not. They have a rule.
Or is that a poison chalice?
They don't put me on any committees at the House of Commons. I cause too much trouble. They put me on one committee and the bill never got passed. So after that, they haven't put me on one since. Everybody else in the House of Commons is in favour of this bill. I was opposed to it, so I just managed to find a way of blocking it. They never forgave me.
Now that you've worked your way through the most high-priced restaurants in the country, what restaurants are you tending to go to now? Have you got any ethnic favourites, or is there a particular style that's appealing to you?
I've tended to settle in much more on pasta dishes, fish dishes, rice, all the obvious things that people are now cooking with olive oil and so on. And I tend to go for restaurants which don't leave me feeling bloated, frankly. If you come out, you don't have to feel gorged. And I think my generation, growing up after the war, you never had enough food, so the objective was eat a lot.
I've got to interrupt you because the very health-conscious rabbit food coloured 10 has appeared on the video wall, and that means we're at a critical point in the competition because there's just 10 minutes of cooking time left. Well, the flashing lights tell us that time is up, so serve up that salmon. The cooking time's over. In the Red Kitchen, Ashley Wilson started his meal with a cheese and walnut souffle. His main course was a gingered crab and sole layer with rhubarb sauce, beetroot, and sesame potatoes. A chocolate millefeuille with lemon mousse and caramel orange sauce completed the meal. Gareth Richards in the Yellow Kitchen gave us a medley of fish mousse with prawns and champagne butter sauce. This was followed by roast breast of duck with harvest sauce, glazed button onions, and pecan crepes filled with stir-fried vegetables. His pudding was lemon shortcake filled with lemon cream and lime coulis. In the Blue Kitchen, Marion McFarlane cooked quails baked in red peppers and little corn muffins with sun-dried tomatoes. Her main course was crispy skin Orkney salmon on a bed of curly kale with spicy puy lentils, morels, and trompette de mort. Marion's dessert was a hazelnut torte with mascarpone and a bramble coulis. Ashley is beginning his... Now, do we like the look of this?
These colours are stunning, aren't
Yes, if you're colourblind, you would miss a lot.
You
Yeah.
would. Let's start off with this twice. This is a twice-baked souffle. It looks jolly nice, and it's sitting on a bit of watercress. Oh, that is very good.
That is delicious.
they? Lovely nut flavour.
And not too heavy. Remember, we were a little concerned that the cheese might just mug the whole meal, but actually
It
there's
hasn't.
just the right amount.
Nice
if anything,
crunchy.
it's the walnut. It's stronger.
Yeah, that's very, very agreeable way to start things off, isn't it? Now, this is the gingered crab and fish layer with, amazingly enough, rhubarb sauce and beetroot and some sesame potatoes. See, that's the way a restaurant critic does it.
Dives in,
Yeah.
in.
Get it all
What's
on
the fish
one.
layer? Is it sole?
It's lemon sole.
It's a lemon sole.
Now, if they did beetroot like that at my school, I would have eaten it.
That sweetness in that ginger is perfect.
Yeah, it is.
Lovely.
It's fabulously good crab.
That would make a very light main course, wouldn't it? I mean, very easy to eat at lunch.
To me, the sesame goes very well with the ginger. That's with the crab. It's, you know, it all works together quite nicely.
It does indeed. That's absolutely excellent.
It's really clever.
Yep. On to the, that's pretty. The chocolate millefeuille with lemon mousse and caramel orange sauce. Sonia, you
Right,
do
I
it.
take the...
You see, that's how to do it.
Well, is it? We're going to have to try and go through it.
It's going to splat out
That's
on
it.
the
No,
side.
this is subtlety.
The only thing is it's only gone in half.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry, Ken. That really is very unfortunate, isn't it? You can have a
Special
big-
clause 4 approach to eating. Yeah.
That's fabulous. That orange really cleans that chocolate. I've never been a terrific chocoholic, but that is gorgeous.
No, I'm a complete chocoholic.
Incredible caramel orange sauce. I mean, wow.
Yes, I'm going to get more of that.
And that happens to be terribly good chocolate. Shall we?
Right?
I think we should. This is pretty artistic. Gareth is starting off with his medley of fish mousse, which is a cod mousse with prawns, with a champagne butter sauce, which we're really keen on tucking into. This all, I mean,
Absolutely beautiful.
good colour values.
Let's make a beginning here.
Looks so pretty, actually. It seems a pity to destroy it.
You know, it's amazing. For a politician, Ken is longer on action than rhetoric, isn't it?
Oh, that is excellent as well.
Very nice. Good taste of cod.
Really very good.
And you can taste the champagne.
Yes, extremely. Yeah.
So cod and champagne.
Next menu.
It works.
It's a first, and it works. This is the breast of duck with harvest sauce. This very beautiful pecan crepe filled with stir-fried vegetables.
It's lovely, isn't it? I saw these being made, and they just looked so good.
The
Wonderful
fat
duck.
doesn't seem as overpowering as it often does with duck. And you end up,
They're
the
beautiful
fat
duck.
dominates everything.
You can taste those herbs in that
Oh, it's a
crepe.
great crepe.
That crepe is very clever.
Yes, blackberry's delicious as well.
Yep.
Oh, that really works.
Yep. And I must say, for vegetarians, that crepe with stir-fried vegetables is
Yes.
Be a wonderful main
wonderful.
course,
Be a wonderful main course.
Good idea.
Lemon shortcake filled with lemon cream, served with a lime coulis.
Right.
And we'll have that wonderful hit of lemon and lime.
Let's see.
Okay.
That is so rich and light.
Wow. Was it cream? No,
I
it
think-
was just cream, was it?
What's in the lemon cream?
It's grated rind of lemon and juice and some Cointreau.
Let's try this lime coulis.
So clever, this.
Oh, that's good.
And then that softens it. They are a very good marriage, that lemon and that lime.
Very good. A pudding that hits you in the mandibles. Onward. This is a wonderful colour as well, actually. I mean, we knew when we were talking about this menu it would be amazingly colourful.
That's it, pretty.
The Blue Kitchen Marion is starting us off with this very enthralling dish, which is quails baked in red peppers, served with little corn muffins. Thankfully, she's made 3 muffins, so we don't have to squabble. What? Oh, it looks awfully nice inside. And it's got, what, pine nuts and basil?
That's
and...
right, yes.
Oh, that is wonderful.
It's wonderful not having the bones to get the pile off.
I love the pine nuts with it.
Yes, it goes right, the scent goes right way through the pimento, doesn't it?
And that quail's been very nicely cooked as well. Oh, that's a very good corn muffin. Sort of thing they eat in Little House on the Prairie all the time. Wonderful.
Without the quail.
Without the quail. Great. Now, on to crispy skin Orkney salmon with morels and trumpet de moor on a bed of curly kale, served with some spicy puy lentils. I think this is a particularly fine way to cook salmon, with and you eat the skin because it goes all crispy and it's really...
Yes. And then you cut through.
I like to start with the lentil.
And it went right the way through.
Yeah,
the
look,
crunchy
I mean,
taste.
that salmon is perfect because it's just slightly...
Look at it, juicy.
Slightly underdone in the middle.
Yeah.
That is a fabulous piece of salmon,
Very,
isn't it?
That was delicious.
I think those lentils are incredible, actually, because they're really packed full of cumin and coriander. It goes very well with the morels, doesn't it?
Which always have that sort of slightly woody, smoky effect.
I haven't made up my mind yet. I'll just have to have some more.
I think, yeah, just... right, onward. We can't stay eating this salmon all day. So, this is a hazelnut torte with mascarpone and a pool of bramble coulis. It's pretty dishy looking pudding, isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful.
Well, what a perfect meringue, because look, it just...
Yes, you're not hammering.
You're not fighting with it. I hate, you know, having to...
What's the liqueur in this? The liqueur in it?
Brambleberry.
Wow.
Oh, that is wonderful.
I think that's an astonishingly good meringue, actually.
Terrific.
Because it runs through the gamut of crisp and gooey and... Right, off to judge. Follow me, and we shall go to our secret judging area.
Because I now like something I've never had before, and therefore the way in which the sauce based on the rhubarb came through, which I thought, oh dear, I'm not going to like this, you know, but it was magnificent.
I would have preferred to have the cheese and walnut souffle after the chocolate millefeuille, because I love savoury.
You said a savoury, and it would do
It would be
very
a
well
very
with savoury.
wonderful savoury.
Yes. It didn't taste fishy that first
No.
time. I didn't get a feeling of, oh, this is a very strong
just
fishy.
right.
It was a beautiful.
Yeah.
And cod is not renowned for its brilliance of delicate flavour. It sometimes can be overstated as a
Yes,
fish. And I
that's
think
true.
he did that brilliantly.
But for me, what I would do, I would go to a restaurant that just served the crepes.
Yeah.
They were, I mean,
Yes.
once again, completely new sort of combination of tastes. And the pecan really livened the crepe up.
Yeah.
The fact of salmon having that crispy top immediately sort of gave it the depth of the colour that she had with the black and the white. I mean, she is very clever. And well, again, a pudding, I mean, you couldn't do better anywhere than to have a pudding like that.
And I also like the quail in the red peppers. That's, I mean, I did initially think there might be the whole little quail with all the bones. I
Yes,
thought,
which is
God, just
very daunting
Yes.
thought.
But no, that was a perfect combination. I really
a very
was.
well balanced
Yes.
menu right the way through.
Wonderful.
The
And the
flavour in the liquor.
mushrooms. I mean, I ate one of yours. I mean, I dived in there. I don't know
I
whether...
want to have a chat with you about that. Well, for almost the last time this series, we've deliberated, cogitated, and digested, and with the intense difficulty we've come to expect in the semi-finals, we have come to our conclusions. But first, Ken, was this a life-enhancing experience for
Well,
you?
yes, I will never be averse to beetroot and rhubarb again. The idea that two things I both loathe could be made together into a sauce and I'd enjoy it, I would have found inconceivable.
It's the miracle of cookery. Sonia, did you
And
like
I would
your
say
meals?
that you always learn something whenever you have a new experience like this, and to have a fish that could have a crispness to it without being egg and breadcrumbed. I thought that was brilliant.
Well, if you saw the intensity with which we attacked our 3 meals this evening, you don't have any doubts about how good the cooking has been today. So we want to thank and congratulate all of our contestants who are all champion cooks. But the winner of this round, who will go through to join us again for next week's grand final, is Marion McFarlane.
Oh, God. Oh, thank you.
So after 2 years of male MasterChef champions, the women are fighting back. Marion McFarlane will join Holly Shade from London and Claire Askeroff from the southeast in a week's time when we decide the MasterChef of Britain 1995. Joining me to make this important, and I know already incredibly difficult decision, will be the Agriculture Minister, William Walgrave, and the Frenchman who in his recent television series explored the science of food. That's the Lord of Le Manoir, Raymond Blanc. So many congratulations to Ashley, to Gareth, and to Marion for giving our taste buds a really enjoyable workout. Thanks also to Sonia Stevenson and to Ken Livingston for showing us how much fun eating incredibly good food can be. And see you all next week for the grand final of MasterChef 1995.
Moments to lift the heart.
Cantona scores! Unbelievable!
And moments to lift the soul. Magic moments as Songs of Praise returns for an encore from Old Trafford in 25 minutes.
Now on BBC One, the news and sport with Moira Stewart and Rob Bonnet. It's 6 o'clock.
The contenders for the Tory party leadership make fresh efforts to win over Conservative MPs. John Major says if he's the victor, there'll be no recriminations against his opponents. John Redwood calls on the party to unite behind whoever wins. The Roman Catholic Church says priests will remain celibate, married Anglican converts will remain an exception. And Michael Schumacher wins the French Grand Prix after Damon Hill throws away pole position. Good evening. The build-up to next Tuesday's vote for the Tory party leadership has produced a sharp clash over European policy between the Prime Minister and John Redwood. But in separate interviews on BBC television, Mr Major and Mr Redwood both promised to restore party unity if elected. Most Tory MPs have been keeping their voting intentions to themselves, and it's still possible the contest will have to go to a second round.
Never have so many airwaves been so dominated by pursuit of the votes of so few. Tory elections used to be private affairs. No more. Challenger John Redwood tramped the TV studios today, making his case to the 329 Tory MPs who'll decide his fate and that of the Prime Minister on Tuesday.